Can you see it now, Vaidehi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hi everyone, this is Vaidehi from Steer Me. This webinar is done along with YEF, which is a youth organization that helps all the students of the country, all the young people of the country do something good. Similarly, Steer Me is a startup which helps all the young kids, all the people who want to make good careers, get connected with people that they aspire to be like. Right. Similarly, we have one mentor, Kanupriya, joining us. Kanupriya has, 2 times experience of UPSC mains, right? Yeah. And, Kanupriya is also a graduate from LSR. She studied economics and political science from there. My name is Betty, your moderator for the. All right. Just a second. Please put yourself on mute. Please put yourself on mute. All right. Great. So my name is Vaidehi. I'll be your moderator for this session. See, I don't have a lot of understanding about UPSC. It's very broad knowledge. So I believe I would be like one of you guys, right? So I would be asking some questions on your behalf to Kanupriya, and she being the expert here would be answering all the things. Kanupriya, it would be great if you can also introduce yourself.
Yes, sure, Vaidehi. Thanks for calling me and giving me this opportunity. My pleasure, actually. Welcome all, and I hope I'm able to solve some of your queries because, as Vaidehi mentioned, UPSC is so vast that it's very difficult to cover everything in one webinar, but still we will try. I went through all of your queries, and I think I will try to cover most of the questions that have been asked. So myself, Kanupriya Parikh, as Vaidehi mentioned, I passed out from Lady Shri Ram College for Women, University of Delhi, and I graduated in economics and political science. And right after my college, I started preparing for UPSC because it was like my childhood dream, and I chased it. I also got admitted to Delhi University's Faculty of Law, but I was so sort of passionate about UPSC that I left everything. I thought this is where my heart lies, and I just chased it. So I've learned few things throughout this process, which I think can be helpful to anybody who wants to start or have just begun. So I'll start with the basics first. So first of all, a very brief sort of, very introductory basic thing, like all of you must be knowing that it is conducted by UPSC. We call it UPSC. Why? Because it is conducted by UPSC, that is Union Public Service Commission. It's a constitutional body. So constitutional body here itself holds some importance. That means that no government with any political ideology, anything, cannot alter the power of this commission to recruit these high level officials, because it has been written in the constitution. And if anybody has to change it, they will require amendment, which is very difficult. For that, you require entire political consensus, basically. So you can understand from this very fact that how important this entire recruitment process is, that a different constitutional body has been assigned. So, I mean, you should get an idea that how important these administrators are for the country. The next thing is UPSC doesn't conduct just this exam. People actually sometimes get confused. So today what we are targeting is specifically civil services examination, that is called CSE. So why civil? Because it's just a general differentiation. That is, it's not military, it's not political, it's not judiciary. So it's administrative service. Okay, so it's always keep in mind that when somebody says civil, the connotation is that it's not other parts, like neither judiciary nor military nor political. So that's very basic about it. Now, just again, like in terms of services, our entire country is run on a huge administrative setup, basically. So you should first know why these people are even hired, like why are they so important, why there is such a big status sort of attached to this service, why all of us chase it so much. Because they are very, very important in the country's administration. And there are three kind of services to administer our country. One is All India Services, second is Central Services, and third is State Services. So today our concern is not state services, that is conducted separately by state public service commissions. You must have heard like UPPSC, RPSC, like that. So we will stick to All India Services and Central Services. So what you hear is IAS, that is Indian Administrative Service, IPS, that is Indian Police Service, and IFOS, that is Indian Forest Service. These three services are the only all India services in this country right now. And all other services which you must have heard, like Indian Foreign Service, where people become diplomats, or things like Indian Audit and Account Services, all those are central services. That is, you are entirely working with central government. You have just no link with state government. You are an employee of central government. But what happens with all India services is that why they become even more important is because all of you, I'm assuming, know, or maybe I can tell you that because we are a federal country and we have states but a powerful center, so center controls everything. So even these top administrators which are sent to every state are ultimately controlled by central government. So what does that mean is that like an IAS is recruited by center but given to states to administer their state. So when you hear that this person has got Haryana cadre, that means that that person is now being allotted to state of Haryana and will work with the Haryana government, can also come to center on deputation, but for a very short period of time, not entirely. So this is like basic thing I thought I should tell you before starting into just jumping into the preparation part. You all should have a clear idea about this.
Right. So I guess the flow of this session would be very clear, guys. We'll give you some short introduction, which I guess Kanupriya has already given, right? So one would be introduction about what UPSC, CSC, all of this is about. Then we will answer some common questions that you might have related to that. The second thing is related to the exam itself, the syllabus, the preparation, the entire flow of how you should go about it, which coaching you should join, and all of those kind of things. And the third thing would be how you should keep yourself motivated about it, and how is the journey later on after that, right? So we will break this session into these parts. Kanupriya, if there's anything in the introductory session that you would like to add, please do so. Otherwise,
Yes.
we'll move to the exam.
Yeah, sure. I'll just like, I thought after a brief introduction, a general introduction, I'll just tell you the pattern here so that in Q&A you can ask me a few things and then I'll wholeheartedly switch to preparation and planning part. So I'll just give you a brief pattern that now that I've told you what you are going to prepare for, basically what will you become. So how do you become? Basically you become by giving an examination. So this is a 3-phase examination, that is preliminary, means interview. In preliminary, we have 2 papers. One is general studies, the other is aptitude test. It has mathematics and English portions. I think somebody is not on mute here.
Yeah.
Just be on mute, guys. Yeah. So this is about preliminary. Then in mains, and preliminary is entirely objective. That is all MCQ type of questions. And when it comes to mains, it's entirely subjective. You have all written papers, and that's a huge portion, which contains 1,750 marks, and it is the part that will be covered in your final merit list. Your preliminary exam is only for screening. Those marks will not be added in your final list, so result will not be impacted by the marks. You just have to clear that for cutoff. And after mains, you will have a interview, and that will be of 275 marks. That's your personality test, not a knowledge test, like how good your personality is and how well suited you are to the post. So that is the pattern of it. And now I'll ask you to give some questions, and then if you don't have any questions, we will switch to the preparation part later on. So if anybody has any question right now, I'll try to answer those.
One of the common questions, Kanupriya, is that which subject you should choose, really.
Yes, I'll come to that, where they I thought I'll come to that later on.
Sure.
I'll just write down all your questions. If anybody has any question, just tell me.
Yeah. The doubts last में ले लेना. ठीक है, last में ले लेंगे doubts. We'll continue with the preparation right now. Yeah. Just in case you have any kind of questions, just write them down in the chat. We will answer all of your questions. Okay, don't worry. We will take up all of your questions. If you don't take up all of them, we will make sure that at the end of it, we send out you some material that answers all the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So let's continue with the preparation then, Kanupriya.
Yeah. So now that I've told you that there are 2 phases, that is preliminary and mains. So the syllabus, generally people think that preliminary we will prepare differently and we'll prepare first and then we will come to mains. That is not how things work out, because a lot of things are common. What is not common is how they ask you the same things. So your strategy differs, not your subjects. However, in mains, few things are added up. So I'll tell you, in prelims, you have all the general subjects, which you have, all of you must have read in your school, that are like polity, economy, history, geography, science and technology, environment, ecology, and lot of questions based on current affairs and news.
तू नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि ये वेब उसका है ना ये.
Guys, can you please be on mute?
Yeah. I'm muting people. Kanupriya, please continue.
Sure. Okay, yeah, so these are the subjects that will be covered in preliminary examination. Now, these all subjects are also important from mains perspective, because mains also has all these subjects, but there will be few things that will be added in the mains. So what are the things that will be added? There are subjects like social issues. Social issues comprises things like understanding features of Indian society. For example, we have this culture of joint families, and we have this culture of different sort of ethnic diversity and kind of clothing that we have. So some things are very unique to Indian society, and for an administrator it is very important to know, because you can be posted anywhere. Like you can be posted in Chhattisgarh, which is a very tribal intensive area, and if you are from, let's say, some state which has a very less of tribal population and you don't know anything about their culture, that can be problematic. So therefore these things hold importance. So before just start cramming and going to the sources, you also should reason with yourself that why is there something in the syllabus, and if you will question everything like that, you will yourself understand the importance of it and will be more interested to learn that. Don't go by ki acha syllabus mein these things are mentioned, I have to just cover these many books and then I will mug up everything and then I will write. That's not the right strategy, I believe. You should look at the syllabus. You should reason with yourself that is it even necessary for an IAS or an IPS to know all these things, and you will surely realize the importance of the syllabus and you will kind of fall in love with the syllabus, and then if you move ahead you will be at much better place. So I was telling that there are additional things. So other additional subjects are like security issues, let's say Naxalite movement and northeastern insurgency, also terrorism in Kashmir, even drug system problem and things like those. The other thing that is added, major thing, is optional subject, which is not at all in the preliminary exam. So I think most of the people, when they ask which subject to choose, they are asking about optional, because that's the only choice that you can make. All other GS papers are compulsory and similar for everyone. Only optional is that you have to choose yourself. So when coming to choosing optional, it has to be a very, very wise decision, because it forms a very important part. It contains 500 marks out of 1750 marks. And also because it's the only subject where you can sort of specialize in terms of your preparation, you can get edge over others, because UPSC syllabus is so vast. Therefore generally what happens in general studies, that everyone has almost equal amount of knowledge, because everyone is going through those similar sources, newspapers and everything, and they can ask you anything under the sun. So it's very difficult to take an edge over others. But that's not the case with your optional. Like if I read political science, I can go very deep into that subject and I can build an edge over others. So there I can get those marks which will help me to get a very good rank. So therefore this decision has to be very wise. First of all, now how to decide? There are 2-3 factors into that. One is graduation subject. But what happens is that a lot of science background people, they think, or they are told by coaching people, that science subjects are very difficult and you will not get marks. So many people are scared to take, like, let's say chemical engineering, like Veday has done chemical engineering, I know. Yeah. So people are not encouraged to take that subject. They think that it's very vast, I'll not be able to cover and questions will be very tough. There is no guidance. So it's better to take something like, let's say, let's assume whether he is interested in history. So what happens is that she'll think ki, Arey, it's better to take history because there's so much of guidance and I'll somehow score in history. Let's leave my subject. So that's one way how people do. But in recent trends, what we are seeing is that science subjects are actually gaining popularity and they're doing very well. Last year's topper was also an IITian and he took mathematics and he did exceptionally well. Like his entire mains marks were dependent on his mathematics. So my argument here would be that if you are confident about your graduation subject, and if you think that you can handle it, don't get into that trap where people telling that these science ke subjects are very tough. If you are confident, then take it up. You will need to research about it. First of all, look at the syllabus of that subject. Then at least 2 years past year papers, at least two. You can go further, like you can see five years past papers, but at least two. Let's say you are targeting 2021, so at least see 2019 and 2020's mains paper. So you will get an idea if you can answer such questions, if you read those sources and see the syllabus, read every topic very diligently. First think, what is it saying? What this topic is saying? Oh, is it difficult? Oh, can I do it? Have I read that something like that in my grad? And so many of you must be having very good relationship with your professors or some seniors or people who are in research or something. I'm sure some guidance we can like gather, but people generally get scared. So my one word of advice is, if you're very good at your graduation subject, don't think that science subjects will not reap good results. It's not the case. They can, if you are confident and if you have very good guidance. Now, if you are not from science background, like I was not, so for me the choice became quite natural because I had political science and I was interested in that. So I immediately took up political science. But that's not the case with everyone. I know people who have political science in their graduation, but they take up something like sociology or let's say anthropology. Now, why does that happen? Because people think that they were not very good while they were doing graduation, or they didn't pay that much attention. So because we know how university system works, all of us have study like overnight and give our exams and just pass our exams somehow. So it's not that if I have studied political science, I know a lot about political science. That happens a lot of times. So a lot of people switch their subjects, which is okay, which is fine to switch. But again, if you're taking a humanities subject, I'm talking about both science people and also humanities or commerce people. If you're taking any humanities subject as your optional, the exercise remains same. Just go through the syllabus, see every topic, read every topic, spend some time with that syllabus. Don't listen, just don't start watching this video, that video. These days, because we have so much of information, we don't use our brains. We just start listening to other people. Don't rely so much on other people's brain. Just use your brain first, then take other people's assistance. What people have started doing is like just they have substituted their own brain with others' brain. Don't do that. Just let's say some of you like psychology and thinking of taking psychology as optional. First task that you should do is that download the syllabus of psychology, spend some time, read every topic. You can do normal Google search, like normal Wikipedia. Even if you read something, one page of Wikipedia on that particular topic, you will get some idea. And if you do that exercise for the entire syllabus, you will realize what this paper actually demands. And you will see if you are really interested in it. So this is the first stage of your selection. Now assume that you have seen all entire syllabus. Now you think you are really liking most of the topics are doable. Some topics might be tricky, but that can be handled. That's okay. Now the next stage comes again, as I earlier mentioned, go through previous year papers. So at least 2 years you should target. So see every question and then just see that is it direct from the syllabus, because you will be able to see some linkage. Let's say I'll give you an example. Then in political science, thinkers had mentioned like Plato, Aristotle, Machiavelli, and blah, blah, blah. If you see a direct question from Machiavelli, you will realize that this was in syllabus. I just saw it and it has been asked. So even with zero knowledge, you will be able to get some linkage at least. So do that exercise. So you will realize that, okay, these kind of things are actually asked. So what I will have to do? Now let's assume even in this second stage, you liked the subject. Now what you need to do is that do some research involving other people. So maybe watch some videos. There are so many toppers videos these days on internet. Whichever subject you want to take up, let's say mathematics, there are videos on that. Political science, there are a lot of videos on that. Watch videos, 2-3 videos, make your own analysis, and then if you can take some one-on-one guidance, that's even better. Like if you know some senior, if you know some mentor or a professor, anybody, or a coaching person, just talk to them. I want to take this optional and these are my strengths and weaknesses, do you think it's good? So that is how it should be. And one last thing that about optional I want to say is that don't go by the trends that ye wala scoring hai, this is not scoring. What your priority should rather be that do you like it enough to bear the burden of that subject for minimum 3 years. I'm not discouraging guys anybody here, but UPSC's competition is like that let's assume that you might need to invest 3 years minimum. I'm saying you might clear it in first attempt, very good for you, but some others might not, so they might have to spend more time. So just see that can you bear that subject or tolerate that subject for coming 3 years of your life. That should be minimum benchmark for you. That would you be able to read philosophy for next 3 years? Are you that interested in that subject? And if you are, then I think that optional is for you. You shouldn't doubt that optional then. But if you aren't and you are only taking it up because somebody told you that it's very scoring, then you should think twice. So those are the benchmarks for optional, I believe. So don't take anything blindly. Do a little bit of research, put in some efforts. You can take up even around a week to decide, because that decision is going to actually determine your selection. So it's a very big decision. So that's what I have to tell you about optional. And now we'll take up the questions later, Vedha, because I can see there are a lot of questions.
Definitely.
So
we quickly move forward. यार अभी 25 minutes हो भी गया है.
Yeah, sure. I mean, mostly it was about options. So GS में there are similar things as I told you, though how mains will be different. It's just that you need to analyze things a lot and apply those a lot. Let's say you have read somewhere about secularism, but the questions that will be asked in mains will not be very direct. That what is secularism? Nobody is going to ask you that. They will ask you that is secularism relevant to contemporary needs of India? So now for that, you need to analyze that what are the contemporary needs of India? Is secularism actually important? So that is the nature of mains. But prelims, it's very different. They ask you little bit analytical things and a lot of factual things. So for that, the difference is only this much. You have to read the same material except few subjects, but the kind of understanding that you need in prelims and mains differs a lot. So keep that in mind, that are you good in these things? Are you good in analyzing things? Are you good in understanding things? And if you are good, then mains should be a good, like easier task for you. But if you are not, then you might have to put in a little bit extra effort. So be conscious of these things. Now in prelims, obviously memorization will be very important. So those who can memorize easily, they will be on advantage. But even those who aren't but are very passionate don't have to be disheartened, because these days it's not only about memorization. Even in prelims, they're asking very application based question. But still, I mean, I can't deny the role of memorization. So I can't fool around and say that you don't need to memorize, you have to memorize. So some level of memorization will be involved, and you will have to learn that as well. The next thing that I want to say is that because syllabus generally is everywhere available on the internet, I don't want to spend time here telling you each and every topic in the syllabus, because A, it's very vast, plus it's very easily available. I've told you the broad subjects, and if you need that, I'll give you later whether I'll provide the PDF. I'll like to tell you some insights so that that can help you in making decision. So what I want to tell you is that everybody will tell that, okay, read newspaper, go through current affairs, go be aware with general happenings. Now pay attention to it very diligently. It's not just about opening the Hindu or Indian Express every morning and you think you will become an IAS. That's not going to happen like that. If you're really interested, if you really believe कि कल क्या हुआ दिन में इंडिया में and globally, if that is the level of your curiosity, you are the person for this game. And if you're aloof, you are like, I don't care which ministry launched which scheme, I don't care Raghuram Rajan said what, or Nirmala Sitharaman took what decision, but oh my god, I have to do this because this will be asked in the exam. I will be a little open to you that it's going to be tough for you, because see, you have to spend so much time. And somebody in questions also asked about motivation. So this is the biggest motivation, guys, that if it strikes chord to your heart, if you're really interested and curious, then you don't need other motivation. But आप इसलिए कर रहे हैं because it is being asked and everybody wants you to do this, and this is not something you believe in actually, but will get you a good social status. You will find it very hard to stay motivated actually. So these are two big things. A, if you are really passionate about your option. Two, if you are really passionate about general awareness. And I can tell with a lot of confidence, if these two tests are being passed, you are good to go. You will do really well in this exam, maybe not in first attempt, but in subsequent attempts for sure. And these days a lot of people are actually clearing in their very first attempt. So these are the things. Now about planning, some people asked about planning. So planning in general, I would say that you can start little bit with your graduation or post graduation, but I would not suggest you to wholeheartedly jump into the preparation, because ultimately what they want is a very good personality in you. They just don't want कि आप books पढ़ कर आ गए हो. Sorry for using Hindi, but yeah. So they need a very good person who has a lot of understanding. So if you waste your graduation just reading those books that you can actually read later on also in few months, then you will lose out on so much. So I would never recommend anybody to lose out on their graduation. There is so much to learn during college. Be active in your societies, clubs within the college, like be in sports, anything. Just take that good personality out of you, learn everything, be evolved as a person. Don't jump into this trap that I will cover NCRTs right in my graduation. Good, you want to do good, devote some time, let's say 2 hours per day. That is also enough, more than enough actually. But don't get into this trap, because it will not lead you anywhere. Become the person that you always wanted to, and then chase this dream, because they don't want dumb people coming into services, right? They want diverse, vibrant people. They're people they hire, they're like somebody's MBBS, somebody's simple BA, because they are resourceful people for them. So let's say if I didn't learn anything during my BA and I was just cramming or mugging up these facts, I would be of no use to them actually, because anybody can cram these facts. They can also keep robots. Like, what's the big deal in that, knowing who came before Akbar or before Humayun? These are not the things or skills they are actually looking for. So my word of advice is that don't jump into the preparation wholeheartedly. What you actually should do is build these skills. Few skills are very important in this exam. One, I mentioned that cultivate the skill of being curious about what is happening around you. Most of us are living in who are living in states in North India are actually seeing a lot of dust and pollution problem, right? So if you are aware and if you are generally curious, there is very less chances that you will not be interested in the schemes launched by Government of India. But if you are aloof, I'm not bothered, okay, there might be dust and pollution, what should I do? I'm just interested in my own stuff. It will be a very burdensome task for you to see what Government of India is doing in this direction. Yeah. So if you want to crack this exam, don't be aloof. Cultivate that habit of being curious and being aware of everything that is happening around you. Everything, like, it's not only just government stuff. Maybe something like Sushant Singh case, that might be very Bollywood masala sort of thing, but that also has some deeper social questions to be asked. Like nepotism is something in every industry. Drug abuse is a serious problem. How relationships work out, depression, these things are very important for our society and our country's development. So you have to be interested in everything. Cultivate that habit throughout your graduation. That will help you more than cramming some NCRTs and let's say some books. Yeah. Other skill that you will require is very good. Yeah, Radhi, you were saying something?
So one thing that, I've seen a lot of aspirants do is They
Yeah.
see the syllabus that has been taught to them. They see what the problems are in the society in general. For example, I am a single girl, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what will happen to the society and all of that. And at
Yes.
the same time, I'm reading about sociology, and I'm
Yeah.
seeing all the rape cases happening, and I'm seeing what the government is doing about it. The best way that I have talked to a lot of people and how they go about it is they see, okay, what is their personal condition, what is their opinion about it, what is taught to them in the syllabus, entire thing, how the government is reacting on it, and how the society in general is acting, and what they can do if, for example, they are an IPS officer, right? What they can do in that specific position and really resolve this, think of this position as, right? It really depends on you if in every single social issue you are so passionate that you are able to think from that perspective, given this kind of, syllabus, given the kind of understanding that you're developing during this course of preparation. And I think that kind of mindset really helps you to do well in UPSC exams, right?
True, true, very, very true. It's, UPSC, we people call that it's not an exam, it's a way of life. And it is actually a way of life. Once you start, you engage with everything so deeply, it becomes a way of life for you. It's not just merely an exam. It's very different from other exams because, as you said, it will evolve you as a person at some levels. You will actually looking into other people's perspective, because a bureaucrat can never have a limited view. We might be having our own prejudices, our own stereotypes. Bureaucrat can be anything but not prejudiced, because bureaucrat has to cater to general people coming like from, say, let's say, thousands of different backgrounds. So they have to cover a broad spectrum of society, so they have to be very open minded, and this preparation helps you in getting that sort of broad opinion. So that's one part, as rightly pointed out by you. So the other thing that I was mentioning is the skills that you need to build during graduation, rather than just mugging up books, which I think you can do later on as well. Is one other thing is that analyzing things and writing those things, because ultimately it's all about clearing mains, and mains is all about writing. So rather than mugging up, what you can do is like start writing on different topics, maybe weekly, maybe monthly. Or if you have any society or club in your college which encourages writing, you can participate in that. Even debating societies help here a lot. I myself was a part of debating society in my college, because you are there, you talk about such topics only, rape cases and all this capital punishment. So that way you will be able to learn how to analyze things and present things, because ultimately what examiner says is not how much you have read, but what you have written in your notebook, in that paper. So that is what examiner has there. So you need to learn how to present whatever you know. So focus on these broad skills during your graduation and post graduation, as so many people asked me in those things. So if you will build these skills, I'm sure you will be good to go, rather than just sticking to some books. Now other thing in planning, I think 1 year should be an ideal time. So start 1 year before, or if you're exceptionally good at these subjects and have already studied, you can maybe you require some less amount of time, but still I think 8-9 months are required, because the syllabus is huge and you will require a minimum 2-3 revisions to remember those things. So 8-9 months you will require minimum. Otherwise 1 year is an ideal amount of time. And I'll suggest that in terms of planning, cover your optional first. Don't leave your optional for later stages, because once you have decided, I'm saying this for people who have decided ki haan karna hi hai, so don't leave your optional, because that will be the backbone of your preparation. And later on what you can do is that keep revising your optional, and just do some improvements. Maybe you learn something a bit extra about your optional, keep adding those things. But it shouldn't be like that I'll cover my optional in the last. That's a bad strategy. So in planning that happens. And current affairs, I've told you, you just don't leave a single day's news, don't leave a single day's newspaper, and don't make it a burden. That's a very bad way to look at things. Otherwise a lot of coaching material is available, and that's I mean, what, it's a modus operandi kind of thing. Everybody reads those monthly coaching material for current affairs. It's good for memorization, for exam, but I don't think you will evolve as a person as much, and ultimately you will require that sort of analytical viewpoint. So newspaper and news is a must. And these days you don't have to stick to just conventional newspapers. Like there is this YouTube channel of The Economist magazine. If you go and look, it has wonderful content, you know, everything with video, filmmaking, and you will learn a lot of things. Like there is short movie on corruption and how it is being disrupted by so many human rights activists. It will give you a very deep view about that. So just be innovative in kind of things that you are referring. You don't have to just stick to that black and white boring newspaper. It's okay if someday you don't feel like, just do something else, do random. And in UPSC, don't be limited. The other planning and strategies, that somebody here asked me this question, that tell precise online website to refer. I think if you are looking for preciseness, that's not the game. Actually, you need to learn this in the very beginning itself, that there is nothing like preciseness in UPSC. That's never going to happen. Don't, in fact, I will recommend you completely against that. Don't never stick to a single newspaper, single coaching center content, single book, because nobody can cover everything, and UPSC is actually very vast. So be open to knowledge. Yeah, make it a main source, no doubt, and revise it again and again, but be open. Like, don't be ki main yahi website I'll follow and I'll not look into any other website. That's not going to be, because some website might be offering good content for one subject, but other might be offering you a good content in the other subject. So why to lose out on good content? So in UPSC, this might be a little problematic. I totally agree, but you will have to keep your eyes and ears open. You will always have to look up for better sources and good content. And by doing simple market research, anybody can tell you the basic sources. If you people require, I will put a PDF later on. I don't want to waste time on those things. They're very well known, the book list and everything, and the websites to refer, that can be done in a PDF. So but I will say that don't stick to just conventional things, you know, keep on experimenting. Like, let's say there is something about artificial intelligence. Why should you only be you know, constrained by your coaching material or any particular newspaper? Let's say World Economic, I'll give you an example. World Economic Forum has a very good article on artificial intelligence, and I think everybody should read that. So just be that curious person, like keep googling things. So artificial intelligence, if you find a very good article from, let's say ORF, it's a think tank, Indian think tank, so read that. You don't have to stick to any newspaper. Don't limit yourself, and don't think you need to know any precise source of content. I'll tell you the main sources. That's okay, stick to those, but keep expanding. So these are the things that I have to tell. I think I'm good to take questions now. And I also wanted to talk about a little bit about motivation and values, but I think before that I would like to take questions, because that's like summing it up.
I think one of the common questions that we are getting is, what should an average day look like, right? How should a day study schedule look like for a student? You can tell maybe for two kind of people, a person who has committed full time and a person who has a job or has college also. So please tell accordingly.
Yeah. So first of all, I think that's a very good question, because actually it's every day that will matter rather than thinking or planning for entire year. You know, so anybody who has that mindset, I'll say it's very good. Focus on every day. Make targets for every day, and don't make targets hour-wise. That I'll study geography for 2 hours. That's a bad way of making timetable. You know, just decide that I'll read this topic of geography today and I'll finish it up. Maybe for just 1 hour, 3 hours, that might vary, but don't make hour-wise timetable first of all. How an ideal day should look like. Again, it's very subjective, but I'll just try to generalize. Let's say, first of all, who has full time dedicated to this preparation, for them, definitely 1 hour must be given to current affairs. No day should go without being updated to whatever has happened. So 1 hour please dedicate to newspaper or news channel or any other thing. Like, you can be innovative, but just give it to current affairs. The other thing, if you haven't prepared optional yet, I'll say that give a major chunk to optional and build your concepts, and rest you can break with GS, general studies. And don't go by like, I'll do one chapter of this subject, one chapter of this subject. My recommendation is that take a subject and try to finish it. Let's say you have made a deadline of 15 days for economy. So try to finish one subject rather than making a sort of khichdi that I'll read 1 hour for 1 hour I'll read economy, 1 hour for geography. So ideally in your day you should target a subject's topics, so that that would be better. And optional should be covered if an optional has been left out. And ideal day will also depend on what stage you are of your preparation, because let's say you have covered all of major and basic things. Taking tests should be very important in your timetable. Every 3-4 days you must take one mock test, because ultimately preparing will not help you until unless you take mock test. That's very important, because that's how you know what mistakes you are making, where you are good at and what you are not being good. So you need to take mock test. That's very important. And if you are in a very advanced stage of your preparation, you can also devote your time every day to answer writing practice, because that is again also very important. So this actually varies from person to person at what stage you are. So what I can tell you here is that if you are at a very preliminary phase, just build your concepts. Don't go into this mad rush of giving tests and attempting mocks, because you will need very strong concepts first. But if you are somebody who has built up concepts, focus on prelims ka mocks. And if you are at a very advanced stage, every day you should also try answer writing. And for people who are in job, I know a lot of people who used to read newspaper while commuting or during their office, if they can take some time out. But I don't know how helpful that is. But some people try doing that, and I think you can do that, because current affairs is anyway interesting. But some things are very important in current affairs. Let's say you find out some very important article. So my personal recommendation is that read that in a time where you have a lot of focus, and you can also take notes if you want, and no, it's note making is not compulsory. That's also a very common question, but it's not compulsory. It's just that everything should register in your mind. That's important. So if you're working, you can divide some part of your office hours to current affairs and then build your concepts. But for anybody who is in job, I would like to tell you that you will have to push yourself really hard, because every day you need to study. Someday you might only be able to give 2 hours, but don't leave that consistency. I'll really like to focus on consistency here. I understand that with job it's very difficult, or you will get time only on weekend, but maybe just 2 hours, but do devote every hour. Don't go to sleep without studying, because that consistency is very, very important. And make your plan as per your efficiency and as per your time availability. Don't go by any coaching center or any friend, because every person has different strengths. Like, I'm a very slow reader, so if I listen to other people, I'll just like perform very bad. But so I have to make very personalized timetable for myself. Similarly, if you're in job, don't try to copy others. Don't rush. People will tell that, oh my God, you are taking 1 month for this subject. This is so slow. Let them say so, because ask them, have you cleared? So don't be intimidated by other people's opinion. If you think you need 1 entire month for a subject, do give it, but do it. Like, what do people do is they procrastinate, and procrastination in UPSC is deadly, believe me, because anyway it's a 1 entire year process, and even in that, if you procrastinate, you will lose out on motivation. So one very important thing to stay motivated is that maybe you don't feel like studying, just study for 1 hour, but do study. Don't procrastinate.
Yeah, so maybe if you take a time period of 1 year for preparation, okay? So you told that first of all we should study for optional, less just keep 1 week for all the assessment and everything. And then for 1 month, 1 to 3 months, we study properly for optional and prepare the base, right? We get ourselves into the groove of reading NCRT, reading newspapers daily, completing the optional subject and so on. Then for how much time should a person really spend on completing their syllabus and understanding the concepts? Just to give a rough overview. How much time?
Yes,
2
yes.
4 months, how much time should a person spend?
Yes, I think I'll talk about optional first. Most of the optionals require 3 to 4 months.
3 months.
You know, if somebody tells you I can do it in 2 months, they are either lying or they don't know. So don't be discouraged. 3-4 months are actually required. Most of people devote that in amount of time. But again, I told you, don't procrastinate. Otherwise, it will become 5-6 months, and then it will have a negative impact on your prelims. So that's for options. Now, general studies, basic subjects, core of the subjects, like let's say core of polity, economy. So I'm including each and every subject. So if you devote 4-5 months wholeheartedly, you will be able to cover all the concepts. So basically 3-4 months of optional and 4-5 months of GS, around let's say 9 months or 8 months of concept building is required. I mean, I will admit that is important. Don't be in rush. But what you can do is that maybe you can start doing mock a little bit earlier if you feel like that, because some people prefer that I have finished geography, I will like to do some tests. So I'll encourage that's good, because that helps you retaining the information, also analyzing things in your mind. It also tells you how to actually read something, because reading a book is different, but reading a book from exam perspective is an altogether different thing. So giving mocks will help you in that. So you can do that. You don't have to wait for 5 months that, okay, when I'll complete, I'll start with mocks. If you have finished one subject, I'll advise give mock. It's okay, it's good. You don't have to anyway score in mocks. It doesn't matter. Or if you don't like to give mocks, at least see previous year prelims ka paper. So, but build your concepts before jumping to mains test series. I personally recommend that.
Got it.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt. Actually, may I speak?
Sure. बोलो.
मैम एक डाउट था. फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे आपने ऑप्शनल का बताया ना, फॉर एग्जांपल राइट नाउ आई एम डूइंग मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग फ्रॉम थापा यूनिवर्सिटी. आई एम इन 3rd ईयर. ऑलराइट. सो अब ऐसा है, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैं जियोग्राफी जैसे जीएस के लिए करूंगा, पॉलिटी जीएस 2 के लिए करूंगा, इंटीग्रिटी जीएस 4 के लिए करूंगा, तो मैम ऐसे ना, अगर मैंने मैकेनिकल ऑप्शनल चुनना है, तो अगर मैं वो उठाऊं, सीधा जियोग्राफी उठा लूं क्या पॉलिटी उठा लूं एज ऑप्शनल, तो उसमें ज्यादा एडवांटेज नहीं होगा? क्योंकि फॉर एग्जांपल पॉलिटी की मैंने पढ़ी एनसीईआरटी, फिर उसके बाद मैंने पढ़ी एम लक्ष्मीकांत. अगर मैं डीडी बासु भी उठा लेता हूं तो मेरा ऑप्शनल अच्छी तरह प्रिपेयर नहीं हो जाएगा क्या? अगर मैं हिस्ट्री की उठा रहा हूँ, स्पेक्ट्रम भी उठा रहा हूँ, बिपिन चंद्रा भी उठा रहा हूँ, तो इसका डाउट था मैम थोड़ा सा.
Whether should I answer it right now?
Yeah, कर दो एक बार.
Yeah,
Guys, this was the last time that we entertained such kind of a thing. इसके बाद यार guys, तुम लोग please chat पे डालो. We will answer all of the questions. Maybe this session will extend till 8:30. If that's okay with you, we will continue. Before that, guys, let me please tell you, we are not going to share any notes. आपको नोट्स चाहिए खुद बनाओ या फिर टेलीग्राम ग्रुप ज्वाइन करो. ओके, दैट इज द वे टू डू इट. एंड एज कनुप्रिया मेंशन्ड, राइट, नोट्स इज नॉट द वे टू गो. यू हैव टू रियली अंडरस्टैंड. मेरे को थोड़ा डांटने का मन कर रहा है, ठीक है, बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट हाउ यू विल क्लियर. यार हर साल देयर आर 10 lakh people who want to become some IAS officer. यार सब CSE क्लियर करना चाहते हैं, and only 1,000 odd people get selected. That is the level of competition that you will be facing. And if you have this kind of a mindset, please share notes, या notes share कर दो, है ना, this is please send me the syllabus. You have to be that opportunistic. You have to be that kind of a person who goes out there and says, oh no, I will do things on my own. I will search things on my own and do the things by myself. We are here to help you in this process. Yeah, this is some person who has really given a lot of time and has good understanding basis that. अभी तुम्हें notes बना के नहीं भेजते रहेंगे. The notes you have to make for yourself. अगर तुम्हें नोट्स बनाने का मन नहीं है, वीडियो देख के तुम्हारा काम चल जाता है, यू आर एबल टू राइट ग्रेट आंसर्स, वॉच वीडियोस. एज कनुप्रिया सेड दिस ऑलरेडी, राइट, नोट्स इज नॉट द ओनली मेथड टू गो, राइट. सो यू रियली हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. इतने सारे बच्चे कर रहे हैं, पूछ रहे हैं, वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट इट माइट सीम अ लॉट, राइट, but it is one of the most difficult exams in the world. You have to understand that. राइट? और अगर आपका वो आइडियोलॉजी अभी नहीं रहेगा तो यार आप 1 साल बाद पछताओगे जब आप एग्जाम लिख लोगे. देन यू विल डेवलप दैट काइंड ऑफ आइडियोलॉजी एंड माइंडसेट. उससे अच्छा आप अभी समझ जाओ. डोंट गो आफ्टर दिस. बहुत बच्चे जाते हैं. वी हैव दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी टू टेल यू, दैट इज व्हाई वी आर टेलिंग. नोट्स के पीछे से मत भागो. अप्लाई योर ब्रेन्स. बी स्मार्ट इन द वे यू आर वर्किंग. राइट? अच्छा होगा अगर आपको नोट्स मिल जाए. वेरी गुड. देयर आर thousands of telegram channels which you can join, many websites, many YouTube channels that you can join and get all the study material. We are not here to teach you. We are here to tell you how to do it because that is what really matters. नोट सबके पास होते हैं, बुक सबके पास होती है, ठीक है, बट सबके पास ऐसे लोग नहीं होते जिन्होंने मेंस कर रखा और उन्हें पता हो कि हाँ यार ऐसे अप्रोच करना चाहिए. Right? So please make use of this time that you have got. That is all I had to say. ठीक है, but Kanupriya please continue यार. So I believe जो बंदा था उसका
No,
था. हाँ please.
I'll answer that. So Tushar asked that question. So Tushar, your point is valid, but honestly, एक लक्ष्मीकांत और एक NCERT ही नहीं है पॉलिटिकल साइंस में. पॉलिटिकल साइंस में इज अ वेरी वाइड सब्जेक्ट. या पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन भी देखो तो भी बहुत कुछ है. ऐसा लगता है लोगों को कि हिस्ट्री तो मैं जीएस में कर ही रहा हूँ, फिर मैं ऑप्शनल भी ले लूंगा तो मुझे एडवांटेज है. आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग एडवांटेज नहीं है, थोड़ा तो है, ऑब्वियस सी बात है क्योंकि ओवरलैप है, लेकिन उससे सिलेक्शन हो जाएगा ऐसा मत सोचना. एज वेदर ही सेड नो, आप सोचो काइंड ऑफ कंपटीशन सोच के देखो आप लोग. मतलब इफ यू आर thinking of such shortcuts, it's not going to happen. You don't even get to know how they are marking, what is their thinking behind marking, you know, all these things are so tough. So don't go with these things. That a little bit of extra effort is fine if you're good at mechanical engineering. So I would say, Tushar, that if you are good at your subject, you are very confident, I think this should not be the hindrance that it's not overlapping with GS. But yeah, if you yourself are not confident, you think that it's very tricky, I'm not doing that well anyway, then I'll say that yeah, explore other papers. But if you are very good at mechanical engineering, please take it up. And I mean, I just yesterday the scores have come out of this year. I know a person from mechanical engineering who had scored way more than pol science or public administration or something like that, right? So just it should be on your strength. Don't go by these things. There are advantages, but these advantages ये पहले दिखते हैं. As Vedai said, once you start preparing, you will realize the reality of things. एनीवे आपको पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा. देयर इज नो शॉर्टकट टू दीज थिंग्स. ऑप्शनल कोई एक जीएस नहीं है. जीएस इज जस्ट द टाइनीएस्ट बिट इन द ऑप्शनल का प्रेपरेशन. तो उतना सा एक बुक पढ़ने से योर ऑप्शनल विल नॉट बी प्रिपेयर्ड. हो सकता है आपको थोड़ी हेल्प हो जाए. दैट्स नॉट हाउ यू विल बी एबल टू प्रिपेयर दिस एग्जाम. सो द ओनली वे टू चूज ऑप्शनल, आई बिलीव, is if you are comfortable with it. If you are not, then take up some other subject, but don't go by these things that there is overlap, there is no overlap. It doesn't help actually.
Right. And really, it's not proportional to how many books you read. It is proportional to how much marks you can get, right? अगर तुम्हें अंदर से confidence है, I can really get great marks. If I study only for 1 hour every day, I will still be able to do, because I know how to score in this subject, right? Then go for it. Nothing like that. Right? But बुक्स को ऑप्टिमाइज करने से तो शायद ना बने.
नहीं होगा. I actually know people who have like spent their years sitting in library from morning to evening, but they couldn't clear. And people who were in job, people who were interning at good places and were devoting only limited amount of time, they cleared. In fact, cleared in less number of attempts because they were smart. They were not going by herd mentality. मैं ऐसे कर लूंगा, मैं वैसे कर लूंगा, ये हो जाएगा. No. You know, I told you initially that दूसरों का दिमाग से मत काम लो. Look at the things, use your own brain. You know, आपको मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग का अगर सिलेबस देख के कॉन्फिडेंस आ रहा है तो गो अहेड. नहीं आ रहा है तो लीव इट, चूज समथिंग एल्स. बस हो गई, स्टोरी एंडेड.
मैम एक्चुअली वो प्रिपेयर अगर आप प्रिपेयर हो चुका है, जैसे मेरा ऑप्शनल प्रिपेयर हो चुका है मैकेनिकल का, तो अब तो ना मैं उठाऊं ना कोई और ऑप्शनल.
Tushar, please write this in chat, है ना? We will entertain this. Guys, you can talk to Kanupriya and more such mentors who are in at Steer Me. ठीक है? आप उनसे personally one-on-one call कर सकते हो. So please go to Steer Me app and do that. है ना. यहाँ पे we will just entertain the questions that come on the chat. I hope that's okay with all of you.
Yeah, whether so I have more questions to take up. We can take up more questions.
We'll take up more questions. Yeah, we just don't want कि एक ही conversation लंबा चले, है ना. तुषार, if you have any kind of questions, write in the chat, or you can schedule a call with Kanupriya. Free का है कर लो, ठीक है. ठीक है. So one of the common questions was Kanupriya कि अगर किसी ने commerce लिया है, what are the somebody is doing BCom or BBA or something like that, right? What are the optional subjects that they can take up and how should they think about that?
Yes, so commerce itself is an optional and it's a pretty good optional. You just have to be a little bit comfortable with maths and numbers. You know, if you are not comfortable with numbers, then it might be tricky, but otherwise it's a pretty good subject. People score a lot and it's not even subjective, something like philosophy or political science, because here it's on examiner, because there's no right answer, no wrong answer. It's just like how I felt after reading your answer. But in commerce, अगर आपको एक बैलेंस शीट बनानी है तो बैलेंस शीट वही बनेगी, मतलब whether I make it, whether you make it or some CA makes it, you know, the right balance sheet will be the one and only. तो बहुत objective subject भी है. The other option, even management is also available. Like few MBA people do select management, but I don't know BBA people if they will be comfortable or they can look the syllabus. I myself have looked the syllabus of management. It's little bit vast and a little bit of lack of guidance, but again the advantage is that it is also an objective subject. So commerce can be good optional, management can be good optional for MBA people. I'm not sure about BBA people. They can tally the syllabus and how much they have already covered and if they can cover the rest. So these are the objective subjects for them. Others, they can choose any subject.
Cool. And one of the other questions that people are asking is कि eligibility क्या होती है? Many people are like, you know, is BSc agriculture eligible or not? Maybe we should clarify this once. And
yes. So any graduation, guys, any graduation, home science है, कुछ भी है, मतलब कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है, बस graduation है from a recognized university, so you are eligible. You don't require any masters, you don't require any particular subject, like you don't require law or BTech or anything like that. You just have to be a graduate. That is the only eligibility. Plus you have to be minimum of 21 years of age. And there is also maximum age, and that differs from category to category. वो आप Google search कर लेना, आपको अपनी category के according मिल जाएगा. For general it's 32. It varies for others.
Yeah, and you know, you guys have questions like, is it necessary that people who took maths in 11th and 12th can only prepare? No, yeah, not at all. Any graduation is allowed. आपको सिर्फ bachelor's एक होना चाहिए. Okay, please keep that in mind. Okay, don't you know, you can read this on Google also, but don't get confused. Okay. One person is asking, I think it's an interesting question. Basically, which subject is most important for UPSC?
Now that's a very difficult question, and I don't think it has any answer, but still I will, if you want an answer, you want to extract an answer, I would say that be very good with polity. Like polity is like the pillar. मैं ऐसा क्यों बोल रही हूँ? Some people will contest me. I know, because मुझे नहीं देना चाहिए answer, but somebody has asked, so I'll tell you that polity का knowledge makes the pillar of it. Constitution आता है उसका आपके अंदर, administration भी उसी का part है. तो आप जो बनने जा रहे हो, what you are going to do, what you are going to become is everything part of the polity, the political system. So that's like, if you don't know that, there's no sense of knowing anything else. So that's a very, very important subject. Other thing is economy is also very important, but then don't put a hierarchy. It's a very bad thing to do. It's nothing like that. Don't ignore any subject. Everything is important, but yes, I would like to say that a good knowledge of polity and governance and public administration is important. Good knowledge of constitution. That's the crux.
Cool. We have a lot of questions related to coaching institutes, Kanupriya. Let us answer all of the questions. Few people had specific questions that please suggest coachings in Delhi, Kerala, etc. So let's talk about online versus offline first. And when we come to offline, let's talk about the bigger coaching institutes in the country, all right? Yeah, please.
Yeah, sure. So see, like when I started preparing, online was not so much in trend. So we had only offline options, good options. But these days it has changed. Even online has become so good that you can rely on online sources for general studies, especially. So online you have like insights. By even Byju's has entered now. There is an academy also. There are multiple sources. So what I would like to tell you is that it's not that there is lack or dearth of sources or coaching centers. What we actually lack is that we lack the approach. What people think कि मैं coaching join कर लूँगा, I'll get some medicine there, I'll eat it up and I'll somehow be prepared for this exam. That's not going to happen. Even if you join the world का best coaching, that's not going to happen. अगर ऐसा होता तो यूपीएससी फिर कोई भी क्रैक कर लेता. As Vaidehi said, nobody, it's such a cutthroat competition. Actually, even those who clear don't know exact, कोई mechanism नहीं है. ठीक है, it's evolution, it's your own hard work. Coaching आपको एक approach देता है, and coaching आप में confidence build करता है. It clears your doubts, it gives you a direction, gives you path. सब कुछ करना आपको खुद ही है. तो online जितने options I have mentioned, and there are also many more options if you Google them. आप उसमें you see whichever suits you. Like some people prefer the geographical proximity to their houses. So that can be a factor, right? So if that's a factor for you, let's say online, that issue is not going to arise. But still, if you want to go and meet those people sometime, that can be a factor. Plus, how experienced they are, how reliable they are. You can ask some friends and mentors personally if anybody has taken that coaching. So these should be the factors. Plus, there are particular coaching का approach might differ. So whichever approach you like, choose that. और ऑफलाइन में जहाँ तक है, ऑफलाइन में you all of you must have heard that Delhi is like mecca of UPSC coaching. सब दिल्ली ही जाते हैं, and दिल्ली में भी वाजीराम and Ravi is particularly very very famous. And it's a good coaching institute, no doubt. Like they have good faculty and all. But trust me, I have myself done coaching from Vajiram and Ravi. I will not say they're bad, they're good. But it doesn't ensure you anything. Like not even prelims. You can't even clear prelims from joining a coaching institute and reading their notes. If you think that you are in a delusion, come out of that. It's not going to happen. आप coaching जाओ अपने आप डाउट्स क्लियर करने के लिए और अपनी लर्निंग बढ़ाने के लिए. कोई आपको वहां पे एडमिट कार्ड नहीं दे रहा है कि अब तुमने आ गए, अब तुम्हारा हो गया. सो डोंट गो विद दैट माइंडसेट. just go to learn. So in offline, Delhi coachings are very good. Apart from Delhi, these days even in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, in Pune, lot of coaching centers have come up. But still people prefer Delhi because I'll tell you why that happens is that a lot of good crowd goes to Delhi. So that domino effect comes in because you are within that group of good people, so you think this place is better. So that's what happened because it attracts so much of talent. Like what happened in Kota, you people might be more aware with that example. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि कोटा में ही सब कुछ हो सकता है, बट कोटा में टैलेंट ही इतना ज्यादा अट्रैक्ट होता है कि दैट मेक्स द डिफरेंस, राइट? सो दैट हैपेंस इन दिल्ली आल्सो. अदरवाइज योर ज्योग्राफिकल proximity you can see, and in Bangalore there are institutions like Insights and even the branches of other institutes, but Delhi has certain advantages, I'll accept. But if you cannot afford to go to Delhi, there is no need. You can substitute with your local coaching centers plus online sources and some sort of mentorship. And on coaching, I will also like to say that coaching is relatively more important for optional than for general studies. Because general studies in general is general, as if the name suggests, it's just general. बट कोचिंग ऑप्शनल का इम्पोर्टेंट इसलिए होता है क्योंकि आपको जल्दी से एक सब्जेक्ट को समझना होता है. लेट्स से somebody like let's say Vaidehi from chemical engineering decides to take up sociology. Now if she reads everything on her own, she might take up 6 to 7 months. But if I am an expert who is teaching for last say 20 years, I know everything, so I can just coach her that whether it's just look into these sources, look into these things, doesn't mean that she will just clear because she came to me for the guidance. It's just that I saved maybe 2-3 months of her because I knew a lot of things already. So take it that way, then you just have to take good guidance. And in optional, it's more important than general studies. You can actually skip general studies ka coaching. It's not required. You can just rely on online sources.
Yeah. See, a lot of you have questions related to this. Sorry. Yeah. Many people have questions related to, can you suggest me optionals? Can you tell me if I should choose this optional or that optional? So I believe Kanupriya told you the entire process. Okay. First, you have to go check the syllabus. Then you have to go and check last 2-3 years ka question papers. Then you have to ask yourself, oh, can I score well? Can I answer these questions? Can I really enjoy this process? Right? Can I make a commitment to study it for 1 to 3 years next? Right? If you get an answer, yes, then do that. If you're confused between 3-4 different options, ask that question for every optional. Okay, you should be smart enough to understand that for yourself. Okay, you should not be a person who is like, okay, I will just, like Kanupriya said, right, ki herd mentality should not be the real thing. And just she has already explained the process, but if you're still getting this confusion, I think you should really think about it, on why you are again and again asking the same question, because this was already explained, right? So have this clear methodology in your mind, otherwise aapka CSE kaise clear hoga if you're not able to understand such a simple thing, right? So please have a clear direction in your head. Okay, this is how I have to approach. I will have a very objective analytical approach towards it, right? And don't worry, it is not something that will really affect your life hamesha ke liye, right? It is just a choice that you are making so that you are able to score well in the exams, right? It is not anything else. If you choose mechanical engineering right now and 10 years later when you are an IAS officer, people will not laugh at you, right? It will just be a means to really score well in that exam so that you become an IAS officer. Itna simple hai. It's not that complex. So don't make it that complex, okay? If you think too much and don't do anything, you will not achieve, okay? So please think, not a lot, think whatever is required and start understanding and start evaluating things. That is what is going to happen. Hannah?
Yeah, that's right, Gaidari. But if you guys are still anxious, like I understand your anxiety, because optional is a big decision. But as Gaidari said, at least first follow what I've told you. And when you reach to that last stage, then maybe you can approach to somebody like me who is available. But I can only tell you perfectly for political science, right? It will be a bluff if I tell you about chemical engineering. अब मुझे खुद ही नहीं पता chemical engineering का, मैं क्या ऐसे हवा में तो I can't tell you ना, हाँ ले लो. So you then approach somebody who might be like related to that subject or has prepared that subject for UPSC. So first do the exercise. If you are still anxious and want somebody's guidance, take it later and take guidance of somebody who has certain credibility. Like I can say today that I have credibility in political science, I can entertain your doubts in that personally, not here, because then it will like take all the time. So choose such people later on, but first do your own research.
Yeah. ठीक है, you guys, people have questions related to languages also. Is Sanskrit a good option for Indian language, or is English compulsory or not? What would you say about that, Kanupriya?
Yeah. So I think they are asking about compulsory language paper in mains. So we have 2 compulsory language paper in mains, which are only qualifying. The marks are not added. So one is English. I don't know why they are saying English is not available. English is very much compulsory. The other is your mother tongue. Like you can choose Hindi, you can choose Marathi, Kerala. Basically, what is provided by UPSC, like Rajasthani is not an option available. So obviously that option has to available with UPSC. So you can subscribe to those like Tamil or anything. So those are compulsory language papers, if that's your doubt. So you can check which language, if that language is like provided. If you will even just Google search that what compulsory languages paper are allowed, you'll just get it in the first search as well. So you can just do that.
Great. Another question that we got is, if some student is in class 11, 12 right now, and they eventually want to clear CSE, right? They want to become an IAS or something, right? So what should be their approach to choose a course after class 12?
I'll say that you might find it paradoxical, but just forget IAS for the moment. Take a course that helps you building in a better person, building your personality evolving. क्योंकि as Vaidehi said, ये life नहीं है. आप IAS बनो ना बनो, you will still be on this planet living, and that life has to be worthwhile, right? This narrow approach will not help us, none of us, even I was somebody like you, I took all my decisions in life thinking of UPSC, and now I can tell you very much with experience, this approach is not that great. If you like also for with me was like I was really interested in humanities, therefore I took. But if somebody tells you कि इससे IAS बन जाते हैं इसलिए तुम ले लो, तो that's very incorrect. If you're interested in medical sciences, very well become a doctor. There I know people who have done PG like MS, they have done MS and still they gave this exam and became IAS. So it's not like आप history पढ़ के IAS बन जाओगे या BTech करना जरूरी है, nothing like that. You do law is a very good option if you like it, because law knowledge of law is very helpful in running an administration. तो आप लॉ में अगर इंटरेस्टेड हो तो वो एक अच्छा ऑप्शन है. ह्यूमैनिटीज इज अ वेरी गुड ऑप्शन. बीटेक will also give you its own sort of world view. I when I talk to my BTech friends, they tell me that their course help them become this sort of problem solver approach कि कुछ ना कुछ तो हम कर लेंगे. Some problem we face, we will try to use our brains and try to do that. Now that's a skill that is required by an administrator, right? कुछ जरूरी थोड़ी है जिसने history nahi padha, that person is not eligible to solve the problems. Actually, as an administrator, what you have to do is solve problems only. So if BTech is equipping that, if your college is equipping that, even if you are, let's say, in fashion designing, I think there is no harm in that. Matlab, follow your pursuit first. Abhi aise don't jump courses thinking मेरे को बाद में IAS करना है. What I told you initially, what you can do, let's say you are doing MBBS, maybe you can take 1 hour out of your day to be updated with news and all, and building your like writing skills, because that doesn't happen in BTech. A lot of BTech students face this challenge that, oh, we can't write the long paragraphs and all those things. Maybe you can devote some time to building those skills. But ye sochkar, I don't think anybody should do any course. Take up a course thinking freely. Just let your brain be free. Take up a course which you think you like and will help you evolve. That's it. And build skills.
Yeah, and obviously, take something that increases your opportunities at the end of it, right? Because mano na mano, you have to agree that this is a very competitive field, right? And if you have a slightest mindset that, okay, this is something that I'll get into, okay, you have to have a plan B, C for that, right? So choose something which creates those kind of opportunities for you. If you want to talk to more people, you can find them on Sriyami app. We have more than 300 mentors. Okay, so you can really go out there and talk to people, for example, who went to DU, who went to Mumbai University, IIT, who went abroad, and you can get a proper understanding of different fields, courses, and colleges. Okay, I think, guys, we'll take up 1 or 2 last questions. One question that Manisha has asked, which we have not talked about a lot, is the interview stage. Okay, so let's answer this one. Okay, what really happens in interview and what it is all about, and then we'll take one last question, guys. So please add your questions if you have any, or else we'll call it a day. So what do you have to say about interview stage, Kanupriya?
Yes, so that's a good question. So as I said, that interview is a personality test. It's not a knowledge test, because knowledge has been tested already in your prelims and in your mains. There, they will test your personality. So you need to be again a very sort of evolved, aware, and vibrant person. Let's say you have been into banking field for last 2-3 years. They are not going to expect कि अब आपको हिस्ट्री का बहुत कुछ पता होना चाहिए. They are not that foolish people, but they will definitely expect कि if you were, let's say, in Canara Bank, तो आपको minimum things knowledge of banking होना चाहिए. They will ask you how a repo rate cut can impact economy, or let's say liquidity. But that doesn't mean that if you have been a designer for 3 years, they will ask you the same things. So they will just test your personality, that if you have been involved in something, what's your area of thinking, how broad you are, how observant you are, what's your approach towards life. Let's say you have been just working with an NGO, they will ask you about that. So it's not a interview is totally to assess your personality. One thing that they actually like is that people who can perform well under stressful situations, because as you know, in our country, actually life is not easy for IAS IPS. That we might see it very rosy from outside, it's actually very stressful, you know. So if somebody cannot take up stress, they don't think that even you might be extremely smart, you might not be suitable, you know. You will face challenges later on in your service. So that is one thing that is generally assessed. The other thing is also your neutrality, because bureaucracy should not have extremist views, you know. You can't, let's say I of course believe in gender equality, but अब मैं एकदम hardcore if I say feminism like men are trash and all those things like we see sometimes on Twitter and all those, it's a very hard core ideology thing, no. Though gender equality is a good value to have, but don't be extreme in your views, always hear the other side. So that is also one trait that every administrator should have. Let's say you come across a case of misuse of dowry act. If you are a hardcore feminist, you will think girl is the right one here. But that's not the case. In so many cases, boys are the right ones. So therefore, to do justice, to solve the problem, you have to have a neutral approach. So that is also assessed in your interview. So these are some of the personality traits that will be assessed in interview. So don't bother about interview like they will ask you random facts. That's not going to happen. They might ask you about your family, your city, hometown and home state, all those things, because that's a part of your understanding, current affairs and the work that you have already done. That's all. They will assess your personality.
Got it. I think another question is, should you prepare for state PSC along with UPSC or not?
That's a completely personal choice. A lot of people do that because there's a lot of overlap in the syllabus. If you are somebody who really believes in serving in administration, I think you should, because then you should not see it as good and bad hierarchical. Your way should be like, I want to be in the administration. So state will also provide you very good avenues. In fact, some of the most important areas are under state only, like agriculture. It's not with center, it's with state. It's a state subject, which is so important for our economy, for our society, polity, everything. So up state services mein hoकर you can help a lot of people. You can be very near to the administration. Most of the schemes that you hear like MGNREGA, midday meal, beti bachao, beti padhao, these things are actually implemented by state officials at the end of the day. The people who go for inspection on a regular basis in school is not the collector will come once in a blue moon. The very frequently jinko investigation and is sab karna, they will be state officials only. So it's don't look it as like it's something inferior. Yeah, there is a hierarchy, that's true. But if you are genuinely interested in administration and implementing policies of government, it's a good way to go. But if you are not, then don't do anything from herd mentality. Sub state pieces dete hain, so I'll also don't do that. If you are interested, it's a good opportunity. If you're not, don't do that.
Yeah. Great, yeah. So, guys, we answered almost all of your questions. But I guess
yeah, I'll just before summing up, if you end it, I'll just speak for 2-3 minutes, because I thought I'll speak in the last about few things. So just tell me.
Yeah, sure. So, guys, if you have any more questions, right, you can go to Steer Me app. I'll just post the link again. And you can go there. We just don't have Kanupriya. We have a couple of more mentors who can help you out with, your UPSC related queries. So you can go ahead and talk to them, book a call with them. Free ka hai, don't worry so much. And really discuss things through. I think when you will have a one-on-one discussion, then you will arrive at a better thing, because right now what we were talking about was more from a general point of view. And really we had more than 80 people who gave their results, gave their responses to this. right? So it was an amalgamation of all of that. But if you really want to understand from your specific point of view, please schedule a call, okay? And ask any questions that you have in that call. All right, so maybe, you know, another question, Astha, we are not giving certificates. Yeah, this was for your knowledge, not for certificates. But I hope you learned something from this. Kanupriya, maybe you can, you know, tell your last pieces of advice to all of the students.
Yes, so this was asked by someone in among you only. Like somebody asked that what are the values that we need to have, and I really like this question. Actually, this was the most favorite question of mine, and so yes, you do need some values. So be clear with your values. Actually, in any field you go, and in UPSC, like hard work, diligence, these are very important. And I would like to say that if your motivations are like money, मतलब corruption कर लेंगे, बहुत पैसे वाले हो जाएंगे, we will be powerful, we will get some high profile things. So if those are your motivations, I think it's a wrong start with the life. Money is the motivator. Then in today's world, you have so many things to do. You know, you can become an entrepreneur, you can get into investment banking, you can get into law. There's so, like, don't make bad intentions as your motives, okay? So that's a very bad value in general to have, and especially in a field like this, which is actually meant to serve people. You know, it's meant to implement policies and social justice and our constitutional ideals. So like carry those good values with you. That will whether you become an IAS or not, but you will definitely become a better person after preparing this exam, and those values will keep you motivated also. So I really liked your question, and values are very important.
Yeah.
So
And
that
you
was
know, really उनको पता भी चल जाता है, if you have any you know these motivations, they will come to know in your answers, in your, if you get selected for interview, in the interview उनको पता चल जाता है. So I think you guys learned something from the session. All right, if you liked it, you know, you can go ahead and follow Steer Me on Instagram. I think you know, YEF has also provided you a couple of things from there, and you can go and check that out as well. We hope that you found this session helpful. Okay, if you have any kind of feedback after this, please feel free to email us about that. We will be more than happy to incorporate those things. Nonetheless, all the best for your journey. Okay, it's going to be a tough one, but you can really do that. I hope this, you know, webinar gave you a little push in the right direction. Kanupriya, thanks a lot for joining in, yaar. It was really great.
Thank you. No, I really enjoyed the session.
हाँ, और sorry यार, मैंने थोड़ा डांट दिया, but I think that is really important, man. You have to be really smart because it's a cutthroat thing. Be prepared for it, and you know, have that confidence in yourself that this is something that you want in your life, and you can really create a difference. And that's when you will really be able to do something awesome, right? ठीक है कानुप्रिया, thanks a lot यार. अभी late भी हो गया है. This session, you know, extended.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
All the best, everyone, and like prepare well.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll just leave.
Yeah, sure. I'll end the session. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Have a good Sunday tomorrow. Okay. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Bye. Have a good day.